What else we got, bro?
Hey, so listen, man. Listen, bro. I gotta ask you this, man. One of the things that's crazy is that your boy, and I'm saying your boy loosely, of course, Nico, then got fired, bro. What we doing? What are we doing with Nico, bro?
Okay. Let me say this first before I give my 2 cents. Until Nico speaks out for himself and I hear from his lips that it wasn't his idea to trade Luca, right? Then I'm gonna say what everybody else is not saying. It is his fault. It is Nico's
Mm.
fault. Because here's the thing: the way my brain is telling me that it happened is him and Rob Pelinka started talking, and it was his idea, and then he had to go convince the owners why it was a good idea. I don't think the owners told him get this deal done in the middle of the night. I really think him and Rob Pelinka was sitting down, chilling, doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? And they was talking and kind of just brought it up. Was like, you know what? Hmm. And then he brought it to the owners. They had to sign off on it, but it was
What
his
made you? Well, now, what makes you? Since he's never said that,
idea.
what makes you say that? What makes you feel like that happened that way?
Because I'm going again. You know me. I'm a person who believes in what people say. The way Rob Pelinka talked about it was that this was a in the, they had a conversation over coffee, and then that's how the ball got rolling. So to me, it wasn't. He never said that Nico came to me because the owners hit him up. Right? It was them two chilling, talking, having coffee, and then everything sparked from there. The reason why it's on Nico is because it was your idea.
Yeah.
I understand that the
So
owners had to sign off, but it was your idea, and your idea did not work out.
there was a theory, right? There was a theory that uh that that the owner of the Mavs who
Hmm.
bought the team from Mark Cuban wanted to put a casino. They bought the team. Sure, they wanted to buy the team, right? But the big attraction, but they want to build a casino, build a stadium, and put a casino in the stadium, right? And the NFL, the NBA folks or the state was like, "Nah, we ain't doing that, right? We ain't doing the casinos like that." So they would say, so the theory is, and this is probably a conspiracy more than that. They were basically saying, well, if y'all don't let us do it, then we'll relocate the team to Las Vegas, right? They already got the Las Vegas Aces. We'll relocate the Mavs out there. And so one of the theories behind that is that the owners were basically using that as an opportunity for the Mavs to basically tank without Luca. And then they basically said, hey, we're gonna go ahead, and dwindle everything down and get them to relocate on over all together to Vegas, though, bro. So that was a theory that they put out there. But trading Luca was just the owners getting back at the basically the whoever in Dallas didn't approve for them to do the stadium there, though, man. But that's one thing.
Right. The
I'm gonna
other,
tell you. Hmm?
I was gonna say the other theory that I heard. Now, if this again, until I hear it, but this is the other one I heard was that the owners said they were not going to pay Luca, and so that's why they did it in the middle of the night, and that's why he told Nico to get it done. So if that's the case, again, if it's the owner's idea and they fired him because he's the face of it, they wrong. But until I hear that, and until Nico and I don't know if he had to sign an NDA or whatever as part of his severance or what. But if not, and if he get to say his piece and he like, man, listen, I'm finna tell y'all what really happened. And
I
and,
don't
and
think
then
he will because if he does that, I don't think nobody would rock with him no more, right? Because out of
who gonna
fear
rock
that if
with him
they
now
fire
though?
him,
What's
huh?
who's rocking with him now anyway though? Because
Somebody will. So, like somebody's going to give him an opportunity because listen, with all things equal, he has put together some pretty good rosters. To me, he's made some legitimate NBA moves that I think kind of shows that he knows what he's doing. This is what I think. This is what I think. I think that what makes this look bad for him at the moment is that you had Luca and you paired him up with Kyrie. Kyrie's hurt, but then now you had Anthony Davis, and you thought, oh, Anthony Davis, Kyrie, we still are there, and we're adding Cooper Flag in, and that's even icing on the cake.
It
And a
goes
lot of
beyond that.
people,
Goes beyond that.
well,
He also brought
listen,
it.
even
He also brought in Clay Thompson.
well, he brought in Clay Thompson as well, which, by the way, we'll talk about that maybe even on another pod. But this is what I say. I'm saying that to say this, all right? I'm saying that it's making him look bad that Luca came back in shape now out in LA and is doing his thing, right? He's been doing his thing very well, right?
Look,
Now maybe Luca's also motivated by the rumors behind that, him always coming back in shape and everything. Sure, I never saw Luca cut up like he is now or in the offseason for the Mavs. So I think that that's a legitimate thing as far as why they felt like they didn't want to pay him if they thought long term. But listen, it makes him look even worse that Luca is hooping, but also that AD got hurt again. So it's like, okay, let's say you want to trade Luca. All right, yeah, AD was healthy then, but everybody knows AD has a history of always being injured. So when you traded him for a guy who's always injured, and then boom, he gets injured right on time, though, man. He gets, and now everybody who you brought out there to hoop with after this Luka trade is gone. Like they're hurt. Clay isn't hooping like that because I don't think he get them in. And there's no way. By the way, what I was gonna say, I'm a big Clay fan, and I'm probably gonna sound biased. I don't think that Clay's washed. I just don't think that he's taking the same kind of shots, and I don't think he get the minutes. But I think with Clay with sufficient minutes will give you more points. I think that he. I just refuse to believe somebody who can shoot that good is just washed, though, bro.
I don't
But you
know, bro.
brought him there and he's not putting up the points. Cooper Flag is playing, but and
Out of
he's
position.
doing what he is a he is hooping on a sorry team right now, right? It's just all the moves just look like you can point the finger to him, and it's easy to fire him though, bro. Easy.
Yeah, because I mean, so the other theory, there's a picture floating around of the Mavs owner sitting courtside talking to a fan, and there's a picture, and he's basically telling the fan like, "Yeah, we messed up on the trade, and so we gonna do the fans right. We gonna take care of it." And that was how then Nico got fired the next day.
Hey, listen, but even with that said, though, right? Even with that said, I would like to think that Jason Kidd had to have been so this is my thing. I just don't understand how Jason Kidd is also getting the pass on this because I know that even if it was a owner's decision, he's the head coach. So even when you talk about the Luca getting traded, nobody ever really looked at Jason Kidd like, bro, like what happened? And
They
now
did.
that
They did. No,
Nico's
they
getting
did.
fired,
They
I
did.
don't remember people really grilling him that hard though,
They
bro.
did no, they asked him, they asked who all knew about the trade. And it was Nico and it was Jason Kidd sitting next to him. Jason Kidd was sitting here like this. And he said, I found out late in the deal because in the beginning it was only there was only a couple of people that knew about the trade. They didn't ask Jason Kidd what he thought about it. They just told
Mm.
him you're gonna have to get on board with this. Like this is what's happening. That's what they told him. That he didn't have a say in let's trade Luca. That did have they definitely asked that question, bro.
Yeah. I think that it is interesting though, bro, because I usually when you talk about general managers and coaches are usually tied hand in hand. Usually, usually right, if somebody's going to get fired, it's one before the other. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, well, if you feel like usually the general managers and coaches they make those kind of roster decisions together. So if you're going to fire one, you typically fire the other as well. I just think that it's a rare that I recall seeing that a general manager gets fired and the coach just stays and that's just it. Like in basketball, it's like a perfect example of that, right? Is that if I'm not mistaken, I believe for the for the Nuggets. They fired the coach and the general manager,
No, no, no.
right?
That's
Uh,
different though. Why they did that for Denver? The difference, and I'm gonna give you another example why I say that. Denver, the reason why they fired both is because the owner didn't want to choose between the general manager and the coach because them two were bumping heads. That's what happened with them. Them two was getting into fights over personnel, and Russ, of course, was involved in conversations and stuff like that, which is the reason why Russ isn't there today. But when I say that what you're saying is true, normally they do fire the tandem. For instance, that's why people were mad that the Dolphins fired the general manager, but not the head coach.
yes.
But
Now, the only time I've seen that not happen, Sam Presti, of course. Like they're not gonna fire Sam Presti.
they ain't firing Sam Preston. But
No.
the other thing is that with this was more because of the fan outrage. Like they still can't. For instance, Clay Thompson shot a shot backwards or something like that, and they was talking about fire Nico. Like everything is fire Nico, fire Nico. So if you remove him from the equation, now it's just the team making these mistakes. Like Nico ain't there to blame no more. You see what I'm saying? So that it was a
Yeah.
distraction more so than anything. Like people was coming in with they home fire Nico shirts and like like all of that stuff where they banning people from wearing Luca merch and it just got ridiculous out there, bro. So it was more of a like, yo, we gotta quiet this down, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I'm not mad at it. The fact that Luca is hooping, and like I said, I thought that they felt like we couldn't just win a championship with Luca, bro, because we just couldn't. We didn't know what we were gonna get with him every year. And the fact that Luca basically still came back to LA in the best shape anybody has seen him, though, bro. It's just it maybe Luca didn't respect him enough to want to do that, though, bro. But all I know is that like at the end of the day, these transactions all happen on your watch, though, man. And so for that reason, though, yeah, I mean,
And
I
and
get it. It seemed like it was coming.
and AD came about 15 pounds heavier, bro. They said, nah, it ain't Luca, it's Dallas, bro.
Well, yeah, but see, I think that AD came 15 pounds heavier because he was playing center and wanted to bulk up a little bit more to take the which is center, power forward. Is there really a difference in the NBA these days? I never understood that. He never wanted to play center. And I never understood why that mattered because there's
Yeah,
not a
because
difference now.
but they told him coming to Dallas he could play the four to what he wanted to play. That was the whole thing.
Yeah. Now I think this season though he was bulking up to play the five though.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, very interesting though, bro. Very.